Alright, so we're gonna start this meeting at 6:50 is the official time. So today we'll talk about the Grove City Wrestling Boosters Cornhole Tournament. I have the treasurer's report for that. Monetary donations, we made $793. And all these totals aren't final yet. We have some outlying stuff, and we'll talk about that. We paid out $659.98 to Image Effects for the cornhole boards. Ultimate rental, the tents were $496.95. Mike Holmes reimbursed him for the cups for the beer truck, so $16 or so. Competitive bracket, first place we paid out $500. Second place we paid out $143. Third place $95, and fourth place got their money back, which was $50. For the buyback brackets, the competitive took in $80, and the recreational also took in $80. The airmail challenge, we made $45 on that. We paid out $45 on that. 50-50, we paid out $738, but that got donated back by George Downs. Beer truck we still have out there. Thank you letters, the postage and stuff like that we've got to take care of yet. And then the water we need to reimburse Kim for yet. Supplies and donations. Ed and Sandy donated a donation letter, 40 copies for $14.84. The posters and the yard signs, they paid for $111.90. Registration forms, 100 copies were $15.90. All-Star Custom Awards, bought the brackets, those were $89. The registration forms, $848 for a total of $240.12. Intake, registration fee. Competitive division, we brought in 19 teams, $950. Registration fee for the recreational division, that's 40 teams, $1,600. Beer truck at $10 per band, we made $700 on that. The cornhole bag raffle, we made $455 on that, and those were donated to us. We had no cost in those. Silent auction, the chair, the table, the landscaping, and the jewelry. We brought in $300, but nobody bid on the jewelry. So we still have the jewelry that we'll probably give away another way. Buyout brackets, or buy-in brackets, I guess, $20 per team. We brought in 21 teams into that, I guess it says here, $420. Airmail challenge, we made 165 one. We had 33 people participate in that. 50-50, again, 738 we made, plus the money that George donated back the other half. And then the Chinese auction, 93 participants, $1,886. Total on that intake was $79.52. $79.52 was our total there. Donations was $1,033.12. Total intake was $89.85.12. Expenses and cash payouts $29.03.87. Total profit right now is $6,081.25, but we still have a couple expenses. Some notes she has here. 50-50, Art stated he was selling chances for $1 at the end to help build the amount, so that was good. Chinese auction, number of recorded sheets was 93 sold. However, the amount of cash collected equals 94.3 sheets. So I don't know what happened there. Somehow we got either too much or not enough money in that. So should be divisible by 20, but anyhow, still make good money on it. So that's the second page here. So that's basically just a small breakdown of what she has on this sheet. So not a big deal there. So really, old business was the cornhole tournament. That's over and done with. I don't know if we had any outlying stuff that we were talking about at the month before in June. I don't think there was a whole lot. You guys know?
I think it's primarily the cornhole tournament. Can we talk on that a little bit right now?
The cornhole tournament?
Just thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great turnout for the cornhole tournament. I had a lot of people compliment us. We had some really great sponsors, you know, Hubus Truck and Auto, High Branding, MLH. You know, of course, our usual sponsors that have sponsored us all season long are in there. Ray's Construction, Renix, Margarita King, of course. Yeah, Margarita King. How can I forget them? They're our big sponsor. They do a lot for us. They let us host the guest bartender nights 4 times a year over there. So we want to make sure that, you know, we thank them and encourage people to go out and support them as much as they support us. What else am I missing there? We've got, of course, this facility we're in tonight. We're at the Eagle Training Center. That was sponsored by Ray McCracken and the Eagle Car Wash and Grove City Storage. You know, your mom and dad are always supporting us in one way or another. Who else we got? Who else are our
You want to do a scan of the room and show everybody who hasn't been in here?
Show that side.
Lots of.
So it's a work in progress. We've got a lot done here. We've got the mats up. Got those all in place. We still have a little bit more work to do before the season, but you know, you and I just talked about that. We're going to get that all set up and get moving on that. This is what our sponsors are still missing. I know there's more.
Padres,
I don't have a list in, I don't have a list.
Ford Fiber Company, that's been a financial sponsor, you know, ever since I took over, coaching here. I think Ford may have been kind of the last one. But yeah, overall, I mean, the cornhole tournament, again, you know, when we started it, you know, got to give credit to Brian Myers, who kind of, you know, brainchild of that idea. Basically just, you know, how can we get wrestling families, the wrestling community, the Grove City community together and just have a fun day where people can relax, play a game that you can play in your backyard, that anybody can play. We opened it up to our younger wrestlers this year and younger kids this year, and I think that was just a lot of fun.
There's one we forgot, Fraternal Order of the
Yeah,
Eagle.
there you
Can't
go.
forget them.
Yep.
Which I just became a member of.
And then
It is.
the mini storage, did you see that
Yeah,
one?
mini storage.
But yeah, the cornhole tournament, you know, it takes an army kind of to get the thing all set up. You know, he may not thank himself, but John Medvey and you know, his family for helping us run and kind of learn the Scoreholio.
We learned a lot that day.
Yeah, our guy that runs Penn, Ohio, Cam. You know,
Cam's awesome.
I'm certainly going to be working on getting him and the other guy, BA, that runs the North Country Brewery Cornhole League over there for donating the air mailbox. But the professional cornhole guys, you know, I can't say enough about them. Those guys were all in to help make our tournament run as smooth as possible. I didn't really hear one negative comment from those guys. They had a great time, you know, and they said that they would all be back next year, but just nothing but positive kind of feedback to us on how we can continue to get better. You know, just great seeing old coaches, alumni, members of the community that we just don't always get to see, and everybody just kind of come together, support a group, support these kids, and we kind of have something here. You know, our goal and the reason why we do these sponsorships are for, you know, specific things. And in the last couple of years, we haven't been able to have a, you know, a standard team warm-up jacket, but because of the cornhole tournament, you know, that gave us the funds to be able to purchase 25 of these new warm-up jackets for our varsity wrestlers. So that was a big deal for us. And, you know, again, everyone's still feeling, I think, a little bit of the effects of the COVID. You know, we kind of had to trim what we did last year, but then that also kind of created a big need, one of which was this building, and we put a lot of money into it, a lot of money into the program for these kids. And, you know, these kind of different fundraisers that we have, along with the guest bartender night, along with Fred Bell, really make all that stuff kind of happen. So, again, thank you to everybody that came out and supported us and then helped get this cornhole tournament run.
And one thing I think I should mention is the time and effort you put into it. I mean, You know, I know the school pays you as a coach, but to be here with the kids that are here in the evenings and stuff like that, that's all your own time, and that's very much appreciated. You know, the guest bartender night, you basically work for the kids and donate all that money, so, and that's kind of a lot of the reason I'm here is supporting you, because you do so much, because, you know, bringing 2 kids up through the program and everything, it's kind of special when you have a coach that dedicates so much time to the program, and isn't really paid for all the hours you put in and everything like that, so.
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
A lot of time, a lot of fun though, with all the kids. You know, we just had a great group of kids from all over Mercer County in here, scrapping, rolling. And, you know, I'll say on a, you know, day like today, you know, you may not always get access to a school, but again, because of donations, because of sponsors, we have this beautiful facility that we can kind of run practice whenever we want to. And, you know, our kids on all levels are going to continue to grow and thrive, you know, because of this. The facility that we have and the things that we get supported from our community. So, again, thank you to everybody that helps us out.
So going into the season, what's the team going to need this year?
Well,
Heavyweight?
yeah, we've
Any
had some
heavyweights out there?
We've had some holes in the lineup in the past couple of years. I'm really excited. You know, we're bringing up 2 really good 8th graders, you know, to kind of fill out our lightweights there. And our lightweights from last year all seem to be kind of doing a good job of moving up. You know, we're hoping to get some kids that took last year off back and kind of solidify those upper weights. And I mean, overall, we've continued to be a young team, but we're starting to get to that maturity level where we have some seniors, we have some juniors, we have a really nice sophomore class over freshman last year. We kind of broke down the barrier of getting a state medalist with Hunter Homan, so I just think that opens a door, and it's something that a lot of these kids, I mean, we've had state medalists at the youth levels, but now it can be done at the high school level. I think our program, our community is excited for kind of where the program's going. And I think our kids are too, and they're in here tonight, they're scrapping, they're wrestling, they're excelling on the football field. You know, we did a great job with excelling in the classroom last year, staying eligible, staying out of trouble, and I think, you know, you look beyond, as a head coach, you look beyond wrestling with those things and just kind of making, you know, better men, you know, in your program, like people that the community is proud of. And I think there's a lot of excitement for kind of what's going on in Grove City wrestling right now.
So going back to like what the boosters do. So I should probably, you know, mention the boosters, because this is a booster meeting of sorts. Right now I'm acting president, and then Kim is our secretary. Holly Failer, she's our treasurer. We have Angela Navarro on our board. We have Art Carl on the board. No, Steph's not on it. Mike Holmes is the JO
representative.
Mary Hines is the vice president
Of JO.
Vice president of JO. And you know, so that's, you know, our big job is to make sure that Wes and these wrestlers are getting what they need. So this upcoming season, we're thinking 3 tournaments, Wes? 4 tournaments? Three?
Probably at least 3. We're looking to do at least 2 overnight trips. Get that all smoothed out this year.
Yeah, there's a process for it.
Yeah, looking at possibly 2 dual meet tournaments and possibly 1 pool tournament. I think kind of really the emphasis on this year is, you know, with Fred Bell, we obviously have a top level tournament that brings a lot of good competition. Burgettstown gets us a lot of different looks in the Whippeal area with kids that we may see, you know, further down the line at states. And then with those 2 dual meet tournaments and then that pool tournament, my main goal is to get kids mat time, get kids experience, be able to move kids around and change up weights, and really just continue with a young team, you know, that's always developing. We're always trying to get better. It's just get mat time and continue to wrestle and improve our skills. So we're looking forward to that.
I would say that the Burgettstown tournament's one of my favorites personally. But, what else we got going on? So then we've got our regular season stuff. We talked about that. We talked about
Changing up the regions.
Changing up the regions, yeah. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts there?
I think it's going to be a very, I mean, obviously, last year we had Hickory in our region who ended up being the District 10 champs. So, and I believe we opened with them as a dual. So that was a early challenge last year. Nick Klepper does a great job with his guys. You know, they're moving up to AAA as a team, and I think they're going to continue to have a really good team. But you know, we're kind of back in, other than Hickory, the old school region for Grove City with the Greenville, the Reynolds, Sharon, Sharpsville, Slipper Rock, ourselves, and I just think it's going to be a very, very competitive region. We're excited to kind of get back those rivalries. Mercer, obviously, as well. You know, I think they're going to be back with numbers.
There's a lot of those programs that have changed significantly from year to year as well, so it will be kind of a interesting.
Yep, and I just think overall, I mean, you kind of have to look at each group's middle school program and their feeder program. I mean, that is why, you know, our program is kind of built like a pyramid, and we really focus on the youth level that's going to be feeding us year after year. I put so much, you know, extra time, I would say, after varsity practice, stopping into the JO room and helping out there, because you see that. Our goal is not to have fluctuations, it's to eventually build a really, really just strong program all the way up through.
Just keep them
that
going.
just keeps bumping them up each year after year. So, yeah, we're excited about that. I think it's going to, you know, continue to create really good crowds. You know, I haven't seen exactly what our home duels are going to be yet this year, but I'm hoping to continue to do kind of special events for those. Like we do, we try to do a charity event with donation of food. We try to recognize our little Eagles each year, and it just really does a good job of getting people in the stands and creating a cool atmosphere for us. And obviously, the new wrestling mat for this year is going to be a cool thing. Continue to try to work with the school on getting the center mat spotlight, and just overall, just kind of make it a full event for each duel and something that, you know, the community and the school and the kids can get excited for.
And don't forget, every home match, you got the live stream.
Team live stream. So that way our friends and families from all over can see it and see our kids, which has just been an awesome thing. And, you know, I think one of the positives that's come out of COVID is just how much access you have now to sports, you know, on all levels. So I think that's been really good.
Yeah, especially if you're kind of a junkie like me that watches everything. And, you know. So we talked a little bit about the Fred Bell. Let's talk a little bit more about that. We you know, that's definitely probably one of the best tournaments around, not just Pennsylvania, but like Tri-State and even further.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have the facilities with 2 gymnasiums, like we do, actually the 5th mat goes into the wrestling room there. When you have a facility like that, you're able to continue to run bigger and bigger tournaments. 40 teams, and we continue to get better and better teams from the WIPUL. And obviously, as we continue to build our program, you know, it's just exciting. And, you know, we've worked and partnered so well with Flow Arena and Frank Volcano and his crew to continue to make it such a seamless and efficient tournament. Rudis, you know, has been coming and setting up, which makes a really cool atmosphere out there that we can buy, and all the custom shirts and different, you know, vendors and stuff that we have. Again, it takes an army. I mean, we'll literally, when that first booster meeting, the season starts, we start on that tournament. But it's just a huge, huge fundraiser. I want to say we grossed like 45,000 last year and made it like 23,000. I mean, it's just like, to me, that's just an absurd.
And that's all back to the kids.
Yeah.
It's all back to the wrestlers. That's, you know, that covers all your expenses for, you know, those overnighters that we do, and the food for away matches and food for tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So.
Gifts for the banquets to celebrate and just be able to celebrate the kids' accomplishments on the season.
I mean, we were able to have a really nice banquet this year, catered, everything. We were like 5-star.
Yeah, we didn't have to do much.
We didn't have to cook hamburgers, hot dogs, nothing.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about the boosters. We meet the third Monday of every month. During the summer, we're typically out at Grove City Memorial Park, so if anybody can make our meetings, we put them out on our band app, we email. We also have a Facebook family page, so if you're not on that, you want to be on that, you can email us at GC Wrestling Boosters wrestling.com, and we'll get you on all our communications lists. We're also working on a website. Website is the name we need to work on a little bit. We need to get a real good domain name. We'll work on that so it's easier to find. But I do post a lot of news on tournaments, even if I'm not at tournaments. Kim knows. You know, they were out at states, and I'm following every news outlet and texting people, and so I'm trying to get the information out to everybody as best as we possibly can.
You know, as it was happening.
Yeah, a little bit. I try.
I was very excited.
I'm on Flow Wrestling, going, okay, where's Hunter at?
It's
Where's,
pretty,
you know?
pretty live.
So, what else we need to talk about? Is that cheerleaders? We want to talk a little bit about our cheer program. We've adopted those into the wrestling boosters. So we support the Grove City Wrestling cheerleaders. Erica Harmon's our coach, so she couldn't be here tonight, but I know she'd like to.
Right, but instead of them being their own entity, now we're one big family.
Right, one big team.
They weren't very well taken care of, and now it's like they do so much for the wrestling.
And that's probably one of the biggest positives of wrestling.
Yeah.
When you're stuck in a smelly gym for hours at a time with the same people, you get some pretty good friends.
Yeah.
You know, family, friends, whatever. I mean, we do a social in the fall before the season starts. That's probably going to be at Big Rail this year. We're working on that. So we do a lot of social stuff together as families and try to incorporate the family values into the program.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say on kind of that note of, you know, in the past 4 to 5 years, we've just really, I think, tried to embrace the idea of it's one group, it's one community, one family in the wrestling crew, you know, and so from, you know, bringing in the JO boosters, because they do so much work for us, running our concession stands at the home duels, so that way our parents can be in the stands watching their kid. You know, helping us out run tables at Fred Bell. You know, helping us with like set up for banquet stuff, get Chinese auction items, all that stuff. You know, they had always done that stuff and that work, and it was just really nice to kind of be able to incorporate them now, let them have a voice, and then be able to financially support them, paying for coaches' rooms down at the state tournament, helping buy gifts and doing different fundraisers that we can be a part of with them as well. You know, me being able to work with, and you know, us splitting the money for the guest bartender night so that Erica could afford new uniforms for the cheerleaders that, you know, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to.
Right, and that's a shame that you know, the school can't do more there, but it is what it is. So that's where we come in.
Yeah, but then look at all the help they did with the Fred Bell. The cheerleaders saved our life in a lot of areas.
Don't we? You know what? We can't forget our managers neither.
Yes.
I mean, they're part of the team. They're running around with iPads and
we do have a
cleaning.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'll just say, you know, when I get into the school, you know, I'm trying to get stuff ready for practice, and I want to get practice rolling and the guys out there. So it's so refreshing to be able to train. Like, you know, we had Hannah Homan this year that, you know, once I showed her how to do the track wrestling stuff, all the results, she could just plug in and get that stuff done. I'm sitting at home on Friday night after Tool City, and I start getting pings and notifications as Maddie Warner's uploading the kids' matches from that night at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's going to get on the bus at 6 a.m. So, you know, all of them have learned how to do scorebook. All of them will go and, you know, get water bottles filled up. They don't complain. They don't talk back. They just go and they get working. You know, they help to keep our boys in line too whenever they start slacking off. But they're just great workers and great people, and never had to worry about any of them being ineligible or bad grades or trouble. You know, when we went to tournaments, and I mean that's a huge
Didn't they
thing.
tutor some of our kids?
No, they help our guys that are struggling. If our guys are struggling with grades, I mean they're sitting out of practice until they get their grades up, and those girls are helping them out. But you know, you need a mature group of managers, especially when you're doing the overnight trips and things like that. You know, you couldn't do that if you didn't have that group that we have, and I'm just really thankful for that, because they make my life easy whenever it comes to tournaments, and I get to focus on coaching instead of all the other
As you
stuff.
should. As you should. And that's, you know, that's the boosters too. We want to make sure you're able to focus on your job and do what you need to do, and not worry about the other stuff. So, like you said, it takes an army to do a lot of this stuff. So You know, if you can't, or you don't necessarily have to, you know, be at every booster meeting, but if you can volunteer some time for our kids, you don't necessarily even have to have a kid in the program. I mean, your mom was treasurer for what, 80 years?
Yeah, just about.
So,
Ray's still going strong.
yeah, so we have a lot of supporters that aren't, you know, they don't have kids in the program anymore, but, you know, you talk about, you know, the Fred Bell, the coach's room is supported by
Alumni parents.
alumni parents.
That's all it
So they're out there, they're getting the food, they're cooking, they're doing everything they need to make the coach's room good, and, you know, the refs have drinks and all that kind of stuff, so anybody can help. We always want help, and you know, if you don't want to be in charge of something, you don't have to be. Just come in and throw a little time at it. And I think that's probably everything.
We'll do another episode next
Yeah,
week.
we'll probably have another episode
We'll have
coming up.
more people here though.
Yeah, I think the next meeting we'll actually just film a regular meeting.
Yeah.
Our cameraman might be back at school by then, Corey Menke, but we'll get somebody in there that can film, or we'll just set up the tablet and let it roll and let everybody see what we're doing. So, I guess, Kim, meeting adjourned at 7:15.